I'm 27 and have been with my partner Jay, 26, for just under 4 years. We've been living together in a tiny flat since year 2, got a kitten in January, and have been saving every paycheck so we can finally put a deposit down on a place of our own. We've even talked about going to the bank this weekend to see how far off we are from a mortgage. So this feels like it came out of nowhere, but I know it didn't. Everything that led to this built up over months. I'm usually cautious and organized, and never the type to stray. Jay is thoughtful, reliable, and responsible. He works long hours but texts me at lunch asking if I need anything. My strengths are planning and caring for everyone around me. My weakness is that I'm anxious and crave validation a little more than I should. I get restless when things feel too safe, and for reasons I still don't fully understand, I started leaning on an older coworker, M, for attention. M and I ran into each other at work events a few times early this year. He's in a different department, but always lands near me at after-work drinks. His attention felt electric compared to the comfortable but predictable routine I have with Jay. I didn't realize I was chasing a rush until I was in too deep. One evening, I found myself at his desk after hours, leaning close enough to feel his breath, convincing myself that this was harmless. Then one thing led to another, a kiss, a touch, and suddenly I was doing things I swore I never would. I lied to myself, telling myself this was a one-time thing, that I'd end it, that it was just curiosity. But out of curiosity, I went back. I kept making excuses. Jay has that big project. Jay is out of town for 2 nights. Jay needs space to focus. I was pushing for reasons so I could see M again. It lasted for nearly 2 months, a few kisses here, some groping there, and few times where penetration happened, but I never let him finish inside of me because each time I felt guilty. I know why I did it partly. I was bored with my own predictable life. I craved the wild, carefree life I once lived before I met Jay. I was insecure that Jay was more invested in saving money than in spontaneous gestures. I convinced myself M cared about me more. That's on me. My flaw is that I'm impulsive when I feel unappreciated, and I let that impulse override every good thing I have. Last week was a normal week, but it was the week where everything would end. We were about to start making dinner when my phone buzzed. Jay was grabbing stuff from the fridge, and I pulled my phone out just to check quickly. I wasn't being careful. I'd gotten used to thinking I was good at hiding things. I unlocked it, and the message preview from M was sitting right there. He'd replied something flirty, and Jay happened to glance over at the exact wrong second. He asked, "Who's that?" And I tried to brush it off like it was nothing, but I could feel my face burning. I fumbled something about work, but it didn't land. He asked to see the chat. I said no, too fast. So he grabbed the phone out of my hand. He barely scrolled. 10, maybe 15 seconds. That's all it took. M had sent a photo of his dick earlier, which was just my luck. His face changed immediately. He just froze and said, "Seriously?" I panicked. I told him I was going to explain, that it wasn't what it looked like, that it was just stupid messages, all the usual garbage. He didn't say anything. He just put my phone down and walked away. I followed him down the hall trying to talk, but he rushed past me. He grabbed his jacket like he was about to leave, then stopped and asked, "How long?" I couldn't lie. I told him about a month, that we kissed, that there was sexting, but that was it. He just shook his head and went out. I ended up crying on the living room floor. Didn't even eat dinner. Slept on the couch that night while the cat paced around confused. The next day I tried to talk to him again when he got back from work. I told him I was sorry, that I had no excuses, that I didn't expect forgiveness, but I needed him to know I still loved him and wanted to make it right. He asked if there was anything I hadn't told him. I said no. He didn't believe me at first, and I couldn't blame him. I offered to let him go through my phone and laptop. I had deleted everything incriminating, including all my dating site profiles earlier. He didn't take me up on it. He just said, "I saw enough." Since then, we've barely interacted. I keep hoping he'll want to talk, that he'll want to ask questions or say how he feels, even if it's anger. But he's just not engaging at all. Like, how does he do that? Do I matter so little to him that the fact I boinked another guy for almost a year doesn't matter to him? He's behaving like he's already halfway out the door, and maybe he is. I don't know if this silence means he's trying to process or if he's just done and hasn't told me yet. I'm trying not to spiral. I'm keeping up with work even though I feel like a shell of myself. I haven't told many people, only one close friend. I'm too ashamed to say it out loud. I understand now I should never have done this. I don't know where things go from here. I want to fix it. I want to show him I'm serious about changing. But I don't know if he even wants to see that. He looks at me like I'm a stranger now, and that might be how it ends. I hate that I did this. I hate that I hurt him, and I hate knowing I might never get the chance to make it right. Update: I still haven't heard Jay say he's officially done, but he's moved on in every other way. He moved out last weekend, so there's that too. He took that trip to a work conference we talked about going to together, except he's there without me, traveling with a group of people who don't know about any of this. I've seen photos of him smiling, at dinners, on hikes, even tagging the cat's name in a post. He looks content. Part of me is relieved that he seems okay, but another part is crushed because I know it's not me he's sharing those moments with. He just told me he found a short-term place near his job and that he'd be moving his things out on Saturday. I asked if he needed help. He said no. I asked if this was it, if he was done. He didn't say yes, but he didn't say no either. He took the cat with him too. I didn't argue. I just stood there while he carried out box after box. He even left the keys on the counter like some kind of movie scene. When he finally walked out, he said, "You don't have to text me." I asked if I could, maybe in a while. He said, "I don't think I'll want to respond." And that was it. Last week, our city hosted a networking event, one of those big professional gatherings with workshops and panels. I volunteered to help with catering coordination. My main goal was hoping to corner him to have a meaningful conversation with. Instead, I spent 4 days in the same building, passing him in hallways as he refused to meet my eye. I mentioned to a mutual friend that I was looking for him, and they let me know he didn't want to talk. I tried a couple of polite texts, saying I was sorry he had to see me there, and that I respected his space, but they went unread. I hate how normal everything else seems while my life is falling apart. Jay even told one of my friends he wished I had been stronger in reaching out, and that stung more than anything. I asked that friend not to repeat it, because I couldn't bear knowing he thought I hadn't tried hard enough. What hurts most is thinking about his family. Early on, I was invited to his mom and dad's place last Christmas. They took me in like I was their daughter, cooked my favorite dishes, and called me part of the family. I never found the words to thank them properly or to explain what happened. I should have sent a note or messaged them, but I was too ashamed. Now every time I think of them, I feel a hollow ache that I lost not just the man I love, but the family that welcomed me. I want to rebuild my sense of self so that I never chase cheap validation again. But I don't know if Jay will ever see that change, or if he'll just see it as too little, too late. He hasn't said he's done for good, but the distance in his voice when we've had one or two awkward convos tells me he's closing off. I'm left wondering if the safest thing now for me is to leave this flat. Let Jay finish this without me under the same roof, and focus on learning who I am when I'm not defined by someone else's approval. I wish there were a clear answer, but right now all I feel is regret and the weight of everything I lost.